The Cleveland Browns are standing on the edge of a massive, franchise-altering precipice, and if you aren't paying attention to the details, you are going to miss the most dramatic shift in team history. We are witnessing the end of the legendary Myles Garrett era and the high-stakes launch of a completely different organizational philosophy. Is this a genius-level pivot toward a dynasty, or is it a catastrophic meltdown that will leave us in the basement for the next decade? Before we dive into the wreckage and the potential rewards, smash that subscribe button if you want the fastest, no-nonsense NFL updates on the planet. Let's get right into the heart of the storm. The fan base is currently split right down the middle regarding the departure of Myles Garrett. I've been reading your comments, and I hear the frustration loud and clear. One of our community members, George, reached out with an interesting take. He's actually pumped for the arrival of Jarrett Verse. Now, I know some of you are sitting there thinking, why would I care about watching film on some new guy when we just shipped off a generational, once-in-a-lifetime talent? Here is the cold, hard reality. NFL executives across the league value Jarrett Verse at an elite, blue-chip level. We aren't talking about a depth piece, we are talking about a player who commanded a massive return package, a first, a second, and a third-round pick. He is only 25 years old, a physical freak on the edge, and he is only just beginning to scratch the surface of his true potential. While it is completely natural to feel that initial, gut-wrenching sting of losing an icon like Garrett, Andrew Berry and the front office are clearly betting on a long-term, structural rebuild. They aren't looking at what's best for this Sunday, they are looking at how to build a championship roster for 2027 and beyond. But hold on, because it gets even crazier. You need to know which other teams were absolutely desperate to pry Myles Garrett away from us before the deal was finalized. It wasn't just the Rams in the mix. We know for a fact the Philadelphia Eagles were pushing hard for a deal. In fact, there is legitimate talk that the Browns front office specifically demanded that Philadelphia include Jalen Carter in any conversation involving Garrett. Howie Roseman apparently slammed the phone down on that demand immediately. It wasn't just them either. The Dallas Cowboys were reportedly sniffing around the situation, trying to find a way to make the money work. It was clear as day, the rest of the league knew exactly what kind of defensive game changer was sitting on the block. Now, let's get a little spicy. Who do you think is actually to blame for this team falling into a position where they felt they had to trade a superstar like Garrett? Is it the front office for failing to build around him, the coaching staff for not maximizing the window, or just the brutal, unforgiving nature of the modern NFL business model? Drop a name in the comments below. I want to see who you're holding accountable. Moving on to the secondary, and frankly, I am genuinely concerned. The cornerback room is looking incredibly thin. We have Denzel Ward and Tyson Campbell, who, when they are actually healthy and on the field, are arguably one of the best tandems in the entire league. But that is the massive, glaring if. We know they have a history of struggling to stay upright. If Denzel Ward goes down, we are essentially cooked. We are seeing young guys like Miles Harden, D'Angelo Ross, and the undrafted free agent Michael Coates fighting for that critical nickel spot, but we haven't seen a splash move to shore up that depth. You need insurance policies in this league. If you don't have secondary depth, you don't have a defense. But keep your eyes peeled, because there is one veteran free agent who keeps popping up in my notes as a potential savior if the injury bug hits early in the season. Let's shift our attention to the offensive side of the ball. Everyone wants to know the million-dollar question: are the Cleveland Browns going to make the playoffs with this remarkably easy schedule? Honestly, before the Myles Garrett trade, I was all in. I thought we were looking at a 9-win floor and a legitimate playoff push. Now, I have to be 100% real with you, the expectations have shifted. I don't see a deep playoff run this year. The departure of a defensive pillar changes the entire identity of the team. However, don't write the offense off yet. We have completely overhauled the system. New play caller, new receivers, a brand new offensive line, the entire philosophical approach has been ripped up and replaced. Jim Schwartz had a top 5 defense last year, and we still struggled because the offense couldn't move the sticks to save their lives. If we can just become average or even competent on offense, this team is still going to be a thorn in everyone's side. We might flirt with a .500 record, but we are in a transition phase. We are laying the foundation, not just trying to survive. And then there is the elephant in the room that everyone is whispering about, Deshaun Watson. I've been asked if he is going to get another contract here, and the answer is simple. Let me be blunt, unless Deshaun Watson plays like a top 10 quarterback throughout the entire 2026 season, there is absolutely zero reason to extend him. If we hear news of an extension without that level of elite production, that is the moment I officially lose my mind. I actually have a gut feeling that we might see Shedeur Sanders getting meaningful reps at some point this season. If Watson gets hurt again, or if he just can't find his rhythm, the organization will have no choice but to pivot to the future. It's a make or break year for him, and the leash has never been shorter. But let's talk about the rising stars who could change the narrative. Who is going to break out? Everyone is talking about the high-profile rookies, but I think people are sleeping on Denzel Boston. I believe as the season progresses, he is going to work his way up the depth chart and force his way into being a primary target. He has the size, the speed, and the work ethic to be an absolute stud. Now, let's address the man in the hot seat, Andrew Berry. I know some of you are ready to fire him right now. You look at the notifications on your phone, you see the headline Myles Garrett traded, and you want his head on a platter. It's an emotional roller coaster. But look at the history. Berry has been aggressive in the draft, and he is clearly playing a long, calculated game. He is stacking picks and trying to build a younger, more versatile roster. But here is the deal, the analytics excuse only works when you are actually winning games on Sunday. If we are sitting here 2 years from now and this team is still struggling to make the postseason, you cannot keep blaming the process. At some point, the results have to match the vision. What is your honest, brutal grade for Andrew Berry right now? Is he an A for his bold, cold-blooded roster moves, or is he an F for failing to keep the team's biggest stars and failing to put a winning product on the field? Let me know your grade in the comments section. This is going to be a fascinating season. We are watching a total, messy, and potentially brilliant reconstruction of the Cleveland Browns in real time. Is it going to be a masterpiece or a complete disaster? We are going to find out together. Stay locked in, because I will be right here every single day, breaking down every move, every injury, and every win. If you made it this far, make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss the next update. I'll see you in the next one.